Do you ever wonder why Japan has so many people living past 100? While in most of the West, folks in their 70s are already dealing with heart problems, memory loss, or juggling a dozen pills a day. Here's what shocked me. Japan has over 92,000 centenarians, people aged 100 or more, living active, independent lives. The difference isn't luck, and it's not just genetics. It's something most of us can do, starting today. I'm a doctor. I've spent years studying brain and heart health. But a few years ago, I nearly became one of my own patients. One morning, in the middle of my clinic, I fainted. My blood pressure was through the roof, my vision blurred, and I realized I was on the edge. That moment changed everything. I started digging into why some people age so gracefully while others decline so quickly. What I found was infuriating. There's a massive global industry built on keeping us sick, pushing sugary, salty, ultra-processed foods and calling them healthy. I've been offered big money to promote these so-called health products, but I refused. Because what I discovered is the opposite of what that industry wants you to know. The real secret to aging well, it's in the foods people in Japan eat every single day. Simple, natural, powerful foods that protect the heart, sharpen the mind, and keep the body strong well into old age. So today, I'm sharing the 6 everyday foods Japanese doctors recommend if you want a real shot at living a long, healthy life. Stay with me, because food number 3 absolutely blew my mind. Let's start with one of the quietest heroes of Japanese longevity, seaweed. In Japan, seaweed isn't some rare health food. It's a daily staple. And for good reason. It's packed with iodine, which fuels your thyroid, the tiny gland that controls your energy and metabolism. It's also full of calcium, magnesium, and fiber that keep your bones strong and your digestion smooth. Older adults who eat seaweed daily tend to have lower blood pressure, fewer thyroid problems, and stronger immunity. Even a small serving, a sheet of nori with lunch, or a handful of wakame in soup, can make a big difference. Next up, tofu. In Japan, tofu isn't just for vegetarians. It's part of nearly every household meal. What looks like a humble block of soy actually delivers high-quality protein, calcium, and phytoestrogens, natural compounds that support hormones, muscles, and bones. In fact, a massive study found that people who eat soy foods at least once a week have a 13% lower risk of heart disease. For seniors, tofu can help rebuild muscle, stabilize hormones, and lower cholesterol, all while keeping meals light and satisfying. And it's easy to love once you know how to cook it. In soups, stir-fries, even grilled with a little soy sauce and ginger. Now, food number 4 is a local legend. Sweet potatoes, especially the purple kind from Okinawa, the island known for having the most centenarians on Earth. Get this, purple sweet potatoes make up almost 70% of the traditional Okinawan diet. They're loaded with fiber, vitamin A, vitamin C, and powerful antioxidants called anthocyanins. The same ones that make blueberries healthy, only stronger. These compounds keep blood vessels flexible, fight inflammation, and fuel your body with steady energy. No blood sugar crashes, no fatigue. Replacing just one daily starch with sweet potatoes can stabilize your energy and protect your heart. But here's where things get really interesting. The third food. It's shiitake mushrooms. Most people see mushrooms as a side dish, but shiitakes are like natural medicine. They contain beta-glucans that strengthen immunity, aritadenine that lowers cholesterol, and lentinin, a compound so powerful it's studied for cancer prevention. Older adults who eat shiitakes regularly have fewer infections, lower inflammation, and more stable energy. They're an easy addition. Toss them in soups, stir-fries, or broths. Now let's talk about fish, specifically mackerel, number 2 on our list. Mackerel is one of Japan's most common fish, affordable, tasty, and unbelievably nutritious. It's loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, and selenium. These nutrients soothe inflammation, sharpen memory, and keep arteries clear. Studies show that people who eat fatty fish like mackerel twice a week live over 2 years longer on average, just from this one habit. Whether grilled, broiled, or canned, it's one of the best foods to protect your heart and brain as you age. And now number 1, the food that ties everything together. Miso soup. This humble bowl of fermented soybean paste and broth might just be Japan's ultimate longevity secret. It's filled with probiotics that heal your gut, isoflavones that protect your heart, and minerals that balance your circulation. In one study, women who ate miso soup regularly had a 20% lower risk of stroke. And here's the best part. The warmth of the soup helps hydrate the body and improve digestion, something many older adults struggle with. Add tofu, seaweed, or shiitake mushrooms, and you've got a complete, heart-protective, gut-friendly, brain-boosting meal, all in one bowl. So let's recap the 6 everyday foods that keep Japan's elders living long, vibrant lives. Seaweed, tofu, sweet potatoes, shiitake mushrooms, mackerel, and miso soup. They may look simple, but together, they're a nutritional powerhouse. These foods feed your muscles, protect your heart, support your brain, and keep inflammation low, the real key to longevity. The truth is, aging doesn't have to mean decline. You don't need a cabinet full of pills to feel young again. You just need to eat like those who've already mastered the art of living long. So here's my challenge to you. This week, pick one of these foods and add it to your meals. Try it, and tell me in the comments which one you chose and how you felt. I read every single message, and your story truly matters. If this video inspired you, tap that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone you love. Because living to 100 isn't about luck, it's about lifestyle. And it starts with what's on your plate.
Fly this helicopter and I'll marry you. The words sliced through the morning air like polished glass, cold and sharp. Victoria Sterling, 31, CEO of Sterling Aviation, stood on the rooftop helipad overlooking Chicago's skyline, her Louboutin heels clicking against the concrete. She looked down at the man who dared to speak to her. A scruffy, unshaven black man in a torn shirt and faded military jacket. To her, he was another piece of city trash daring to breathe the same air. But she had no pilot, no replacement, and a $50 million deal waiting in Detroit. Desperation had made her cruel. Before you judge what happens next, hit subscribe because the twist you're about to hear will change how you see justice, dignity, and revenge forever. Marcus Thompson didn't flinch. "Miss, I can fly this helicopter," he said simply, his calm tone clashing with his ragged appearance. Her assistants, James and Rebecca, broke into laughter. "You probably don't even know how to drive a car," James sneered, straightening his designer tie. "Go beg somewhere else." Victoria folded her arms. "This is an $8 million aircraft," she snapped. "Not some toy you play with in a video game. Why don't you try taking a shower instead?" But Marcus didn't move. "I can fly," he repeated, quietly but with unshakable certainty. Victoria's irritation curled into mockery. "Fine," she said, smirking. "If you can get this helicopter off the ground and take me safely to Detroit, I'll marry you." She expected laughter, humiliation. Maybe security would drag him off. But Marcus just nodded once and walked straight to the cockpit. For a moment, something shifted in the air. The way he sat down, the way his hands gripped the controls with precision, it was like watching a professional. Victoria's amusement faded into confusion as the rotor spun to life. The engine purred, steady and confident. The rooftop fell silent as the helicopter lifted gracefully off the pad, the city shrinking below them. Marcus flew like he was born to do it. Smooth, controlled, flawless. Victoria couldn't hide her disbelief. "Where the hell did you learn to fly like that?" she demanded over the noise. "Places a person like you would never need to know," he replied evenly. Victoria called James midair. "Find out everything about him. Name, history, everything." Her voice was cold, but her mind was racing. Who was this man? Marcus heard every word. He said nothing. The flight to Detroit was seamless, perfect, a humiliating contradiction to every assumption she had made. When they landed, Marcus turned to her. "A promise is a promise," he said. His voice was calm, but his eyes burned with a truth she didn't yet see. Victoria forced a laugh. "You think I was serious?" "It was a joke." Marcus smiled, not kindly. "I understand sarcasm, Miss Sterling. I also understand legal recordings and public promises." He pulled out a small device. "Your assistants heard everything." For the first time in years, Victoria felt fear. She had mocked a man she didn't understand, and now the balance of power was shifting. As Marcus walked away, she didn't yet know that she hadn't just met a stranger. She had awakened a ghost from her past, one she'd buried beneath lies. Marcus Thompson wasn't supposed to exist. At least not anymore. 3 years earlier, he had been Captain Marcus Thompson, a decorated pilot for Chicago's Emergency Medical Transport Unit. He'd saved lives every day, until one night when everything changed. That night, he flew 2 patients, Victoria Sterling, slightly injured in a car crash, and an 8-year-old boy who was bleeding to death. Marcus made the ethical call to save the child first. Victoria, spoiled, entitled, and furious, called the hospital board. Within 2 weeks, Marcus was fired for fabricated misconduct. His license was suspended, his reputation destroyed, his life dismantled. His wife, Camila, left him. "I can't live married to a man who can't even hold a job," she said, walking away with their daughter, Sophia. Marcus lost everything: home, dignity, hope. But even on the streets, he didn't lose his purpose. For 3 years he watched, planned, and waited. Victoria thought she'd humiliated a random stranger on that rooftop. She didn't know he'd been tracking her schedule for months, waiting for her desperation. Her cruel challenge had been the opening he'd spent years building toward. While she celebrated her Detroit deal, Marcus was back in Chicago, photographing every inch of her helicopter. Serial numbers, forged safety certificates, false maintenance tags. Later that night, he met Ana Rodriguez, a former investigator fired for trying to expose the same corruption that had buried him. "I got everything," Ana said, sliding a thick folder across the cafe table. "Bank records, call logs, proof she paid off hospital officials to fire you, and falsified aircraft safety records to cut costs." Marcus's jaw tightened. "So the helicopter she gave me was overdue for maintenance by 3 months," Ana said grimly. "If you'd made one wrong move, it would have crashed. She didn't just humiliate you, she tried to kill you." The truth hit him like a blade. Victoria hadn't only destroyed his career, she'd planned to erase him completely. But the attempt had backfired spectacularly. Marcus looked up. "It's time," he said. Anna nodded. "Tomorrow, every reporter in the country will know who you are, and what she did." Marcus smiled faintly. "And about her little marriage proposal?" Anna laughed. "Legally binding, according to 3 lawyers. Public offer, acceptance, witnesses, recording. You could sue her for millions." Marcus leaned back, his face hard as steel. "Let's not destroy her yet. Let's unmake her." By morning, the world knew. Every news channel lit up with the same headline: CEO accused of attempted murder and corruption. War hero exposes Sterling aviation scandal. Victoria woke to 17 missed calls and panic in her gut. "Miss Sterling," James stammered on the phone. "CNN is outside. The federal prosecutor wants you in their office at 2. They're calling it a corruption ring." "What?" she whispered, pacing her penthouse, hands shaking. The television confirmed her nightmare. Her photo beside Marcus in uniform, medals gleaming, the caption calling him a hero who saved a child over a CO's ego. Her lawyer dropped her. Her board suspended her. Her father, the founder of Sterling Aviation, looked at her across the boardroom table and said coldly, "You've destroyed the family name. You're done." As she sat alone that night, the world she'd built began collapsing. Employees resigning, contracts cancelled, investors fleeing. On her desk sat a folder labeled Compliments of Captain Marcus Thompson. Inside, every email, every bribe, every forged signature. Her phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello, Victoria," Marcus said calmly. "What do you want?" she whispered. "I want you to understand something. When you destroy a person's life, you don't just take their job. You attack their dignity, their family, their worth. You attacked mine. Now you face the same truth." She tried to sound strong. "You planned this." "I planned justice," Marcus replied. "You call it revenge because you've never been held accountable." His tone was quiet, measured, terrifying in its composure. "When you fall," he said, "you'll learn what humility feels like. But unlike me, you won't know how to rise again." The call ended, leaving her in silence and in ruins.